afternoon and welcome to the INSS podcast. And today we are here after very severe, serious operation that actually brought Israel to declare a state of war. Today is something which is totally different that in comparison to what we used to know. And we are here together with Yohanan, Tzoreff and Orna Mizrahi, senior researchers at the INSS, in order to discuss the events, in order to try to understand what actually has happened here, and to try, at least for the first beginning, to draw the blue lines with regard to the very soon future. Yohanan, I would like to begin with you, and I would like to ask you, what is your estimation, or what is your assessment with regard to the purposes of this operation, which is a very complicated, a very major operation that was conducted by Hamas, and it is pretty understood that Hamas planned it for a very long period of time. What is the purpose of this operation? What actually Hamas wants to gain by this operation? What is the strategic purpose? And if you have an idea about the timing, why yesterday? What happened that brought Hamas to launch such an operation yesterday?
Okay, I think that the first target, or the first purpose of this attack that Hamas have taken yesterday is attempt to bring again the Palestinian issue on the international or the Arabic table. Okay, they feel that there is a lot of time that the international community and also the Arab countries ignore the Palestinian issue, and it's needed to put it again on the table. There is also some other purposes very important for Hamas, like the prisoners. They want to release them, and they took a lot of people from Israel as hostages, and they would like to make an exchange with their prisoners. And also the idea of the Al-Aqsa Mosque and what Israel is doing there during the Jewish holidays. They feel that Israel is doing a lot in order to change the status quo in this place, and they want to impose Israel to stop implement this kind of policy. And the third thing is to try to ease the situation inside Gaza Strip. They said that there is a long closure on Gaza, and it's needed to change this issue. I think this is the main issue that Hamas need to achieve in this attack.
With regard to the timing, why yesterday?
Look, it's a big question. So I have no good. I'm not sure that my answer is give you the good answer we need in order to understand what happened here. I'm looking to the demonstrations they have had during the last 3 or 4 weeks along the borders of the strip, and I think that they tried in this demonstration to find the places that they can use in order to send their forces over. And I think that they use this demonstration as a mean in order to find the way and the timing of when to do it. Is it possible to do it in the Israelis or the Jewish holidays? I think that the last holiday of the Jewish was a very, happy holiday that a lot of Jews used to gather
gathering together.
Yes, in synagogue and many other places. and they think that it will be very easy to make the attack in this time. So maybe this is the idea that they had in their mind. So we need time to check if this is the reason. This is the reason.
So, Orna, with regard to Hezbollah, do you think that Hezbollah provided Hamas with a sort of insurance policy in the sense that they will guarantee Hamas to back them if there will be any deterioration or severe deterioration or any too much or too aggressive Israeli retaliation? And the second question is, what do you have in front of your eyes with regard to the possible scenarios of Hezbollah intervention or Hezbollah reaction to the potential developments in the Israeli-Palestinian arena, Israel vis-a-vis Hamas?
Okay, about your first question, as we all know, there is a cooperation and coordination between the factors of what we call they call themselves also the resistant axis that includes both Iran and its Shiite proxies and the Palestinian factors that are all supported by Iran and pushed by Iran. But there are different views in also in our institute about what is the motivation, who is the most motivated about these last actions. Some says this is a Palestinian Palestinian game, and I think that Yohanan is among them because he was describing it as a Palestinian performance by itself, and some sees it's a part of let's say axis performance. I think that this time I am agreeing with Yohanan that it's more the Palestinian performance, and that Hezbollah is not in at the center of the show, and this is why one of the reasons why they cannot they may not accept it. If I am looking about the different scenarios about what's going on, it's going to be in the northern front, I think that because of the enormous implication and results of what is going on the south, Nasrallah must do something, and we have seen it since this morning. That is doing some trying to attract some attention to the northern front. There was the firing of mortars and rockets on Har Dov, and then the IDF retaliate, etc., and other events. There is a lot of tension along the border, but the IDF is ready for this scenario, so it's not the good timing for Hezbollah. So if I look at it, I think there are three scenarios. One is that he will do what he's doing now and try to attract a little bit attention and show that he's part of the game, a solidarity with the Palestinians, but not opening a full-scale war. The second one is that it will be more than that, one step more, and maybe we'll get to have some even few days of a high volume conflict. And the third one is, of course, a wide open campaign, military campaign by Hezbollah, as what we have seen in the south. I must say that I think that the reality is going to be between the first scenario and the second. They will not, Hezbollah doesn't want to have war these days. It's not convenient for him, mostly because what's going on inside Lebanon, because the criticism against him in Lebanon, because Hamas took now is the main leading of the let's say show. And so he will try to be more to show more solidarity and do some actions and provocations, but not to contain them and not to go into a long conflict. But if the campaign, the war between Israel and the Hamas is going to be very long as it is going to be prolonged, the possibilities for friction and for deteriorating into more severe scenarios is there. So we have to take it into consideration, and I think that the IDF is quite ready for that.
Thank you, Orna. Yohanan, I would like to add two questions for you. The first one is taking into consideration the very high price tag of such an operation, something that I assume that Hamas leadership understands pretty well. They know that after launching such an operation that will cause so many casualties, the price tag will be very high. I mean, the Israeli retaliation might be very, very aggressive. So do you think that this is something that they took seriously in their considerations? And the following question is about the planning of this operation. Do you believe that this is home Gazan-made operation, or this is something that the external Hamas leadership is also deeply involved, or maybe even the initiator of this operation?
I think that Hamas itself initiates this attack and also planned it. Okay, I don't know if it's correct to make a differentiation between Hamas internal and Hamas outside. The leadership of Hamas, which stay outside the area. I think that they both work together, and this kind of attack needed also to make training outside Gaza, not only inside Gaza. I think that they make a lot of preparation, maybe in Iran, maybe in Lebanon, many other places that they could use all this kind of means that they use in order to make this attack. So I think that is a long time for preparing. So first of all, it's Hamas initiative and Hamas planning, and also I think that they thought during their planning that they will get the support from what they call the front of the resistance, or what we call the Hezbollah and Iran and Jihad Islami and all the other organizations.
The resistant axis, yes. Okay.
Yes, and they will. We know that since 2001, 21, they began to prepare and to talk about unified
multi-front campaign. Yes, the multi-front campaign. Yes.
And unified, and also they talk about coordination between all these organizations. So I think that also Hamas took this issue to its planning. It depends on the support of those organizations, of these fronts. And also they thought that they are ready. I think the Hamas ready to pay for this issue. Look, the success that they've already had since yesterday give it a lot of credit in order to reach to a situation that
the question that should be asked here is the question that should be asked in this regard is it was not too much success behind the peak of success, and this might be counter-effective for Hamas.
Maybe we
thank you, Yohanan.
Maybe we find at the end, after the Israeli reaction, that it really was too much for this organization.
Yes.
We hope so.
Okay, thank you, Yohanan. Orna, looking at the Lebanese arena itself, Lebanon as a country, as a state, if we can still name it as a state, do you think that Lebanon as such is a sort of a constraint over Hezbollah in its calculations? I mean, is Hezbollah affected or influenced by the Lebanese arena?
Look, it's a good question, and I've been asked about it a lot. And I think that Hezbollah is not just a proxy of Iran. Hezbollah is Lebanese movement, and is connected to what's going on in Lebanon. He is influenced by what is going in Lebanon, and in the last few years more than ever, because of the distress and the crisis, the deep crisis, economy and also political crisis in Lebanon. Hezbollah is part of the leadership, and he is not succeeding in finding any solution, not economically really. I don't know if he tries even, and of course not politically. His status is not as before, because he cannot have the government he wants, he cannot have the president he wants, and now we are in a political vacuum in Lebanon. And all of this bring the part of the Lebanese, big part of the Lebanese, talk about the negative role of Hezbollah in Lebanon. And we are hearing more and more voices about the need that Hezbollah will neglect his weapons and give it up to the Lebanese army, and about the fact that he is to blame about what's going on in Lebanon, and that and also about the issue of about the conflict with Israel. There is criticism that Hezbollah drags Lebanon into wars that are not of Lebanon. They're not needed. They don't have any real issue with Israel now. And lately, even
But at the end of the day, you think that Hezbollah takes into its consideration the Lebanese arena.
It's a very important part in its calculation. What Iran wants and thinks, but also what's going on in Lebanon and other consideration that he has to take in account when they are doing their decision-making process.
Thank you, Orna. Yohanan, my last question for you is, what do you think might be the implications of the current situation, of the current operation, with regard to the Palestinian arena itself? And I mean the relations between Hamas and the Palestinian Authority, Hamas position among the Palestinian populace, and of course the terror campaign that we are tackling for almost a year and a half, or even a bit more.
I think it depends on the reaction of the Israeli side, what kind of reaction it's going to be. And if Hamas will pay a big price for what he had done during this attack, I think that in this time, Hamas has a lot to be proud of, because it made a big attack. It put again the Palestinian issue on the front table of the area and even in the international community. But now it's going to come the reaction of Israel, because Israel cannot ignore what happened here. And the price that Hamas will pay, and the results of this reaction, will be the main component that is going to affect the relationship between Hamas and all the other groups in the Palestinian arena.
According to this analysis, you say that if we want to stabilize the Palestinian arena, which means to minimize the effect or the influence of Hamas has to pay a very high price. Otherwise,
Yes.
we're going to. Okay.
Also,
Thank you.
it also means that
yes.
Israel, even the attack that we have suffered from it, we have still suffered from it. Israel is still the main player in this.
Okay, thank you, Yohanan. Orna, my last question to you is with regard to your assessment, talking about the resistance axis. Do you think that the last attack of Hamas, the current situation that we are in, is something that eventually strengthens the resistance axis? Do you think that Iran has some I would say strategic benefits from that? Hezbollah maybe has some strategic benefits from that?
Yeah, I think that Iran has to be very satisfied about what is going on and the results of the Hamas attack yesterday, because this is what they want. They want to make that the region will be unstable. They want that Israel will be challenged. They want to expose its weakness. And all of this is in Hamas's action yesterday. So they must be very, very much satisfied. And it doesn't use their main proxy, Hezbollah, that they keep it for, more important events that they can use it in the future. So for them, it's a big success, and they can be very satisfied about it.
So the very short following question would be, if you think that the equation that says that stronger Hamas means a wider and deeper Iranian influence in the Palestinian arena is a valid equation.
Well, you're an expert of the yeah. You are the expert on the Palestinian issues.
No, I'm talking about the strength of Hamas as something that strengthens actually the Iranians and their influence in the Palestinian arena, which means that as much as Hamas is stronger, then the influence of Iran is bigger in the Palestinian arena.
I don't think that it's connected to the amounts of their success. It is connected to the amounts that what they need from Iran and how much Iran is willing to give them what they need and provide them what they need. Of course, it comes to show that they have a very important role in the campaign against Israel, the military and other campaigns that Iran is waging against Israel. So they are going to take a very important role in this axis. And maybe Hezbollah even at the end of the day wouldn't like it, because nowadays Hezbollah is the leading proxy in the region, and maybe there is going to be, I don't know, we cannot estimate the changes that we are going to see.
Eventually I think that we can agree about the idea that Hamas is the destabilizer player here in the region, and Hamas must be weakened. And I assume that we are going to face and to tackle very challenging days, and we are in front of a very broad and complex campaign that will last a long period of time. And I assume that we will meet once again in the studio for further podcasts in order to elaborate about the other issues. Thank you very much, Orna. Thank you very much, Yohanan. See you in the next podcast.